Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Boomer Bust podcast after a very, very long hiatus. But here we are. It's Super Wild Card Weekend. I'm back with the fellas. We're here to make some picks. I'm here with my boys Matt and JJ. What's going on, boys?
We're good, man. Good to be back after a 6.5 month hiatus or something like that. So doing well.
Feels good to be back on Boomer Bust, baby. Feels
Yes,
good.
sir. Yes, sir. All right, so we are here to give our predictions for Super Wild Card Weekend, and who knows, maybe this time it won't be, we'll go between week one of the regular season, week one of the playoffs. We might do this every week. Who knows? We'll see. But quick, like I said, our last episode was week one where we gave our season predictions. Let's go through them quick because they aged very well. Matt, in the AFC North, Matt and JJ went with the Baltimore Ravens. Good job, guys. I went Cincinnati Bengals. I didn't plan on Joe Burrow getting injured, so that was tough. In the East, Matt was looking pretty good with his Dolphins pick until me and JJ's pick of the Bills beat them Week 18 to win the division. In the South, we all were on the Jacksonville Jaguars. As of like Week 9 or 10, that looked pretty good. Afterwards, not so much. And then the West, Matt in that episode did say he was being ballsy. He went with the Chargers. Yeah, that didn't pay off. Me and JJ's Chiefs ended up taking it. Then in the NFC East, we all went with the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, week 10 or so, that looked really good. Not so much now. In the North, none of us had the Detroit Lions. We were all sleeping. Me and Matt went with the Vikings. JJ went with the Packers, who at least they made the playoffs. In the West, this may be the greatest pick of the whole pod. JJ went with the Seattle Seahawks to win the West. They just fired their coach today.
They wrote Geno off. He did it right back.
Me and Matt were smart with the Niners. And then none of us had a clue in the South. Baker led the Bucs division title. Matt went with his favorite team, the Falcons. Me and JJ went with the Saints, who almost made the playoffs, but not quite. So, let's see if we're better at predicting playoff games. We're just going to go here down the line, each give our prediction, and at the end, we're going to give our new Super Bowl prediction. They will definitely be different for everyone from what we started the season with. So, first game here, 4:30 Eastern on Saturday on NBC. The first wild card, the Cleveland Browns at 11-6, head to Houston, take on the 10-7 Houston Texans. The Browns are favored by 3 currently, and the over-under set at 44.5. We'll start with Matt. What's your prediction for this game?
Yeah, this game's tough considering they just played a couple weeks back, if I'm not mistaken, and that game was without C.J. Stroud, and the Browns did win that game. I'm going to stick with the Browns here. I think they have one of the 2 best defenses in this playoffs remaining out of the 14 teams. And, yeah, I mean, and you get a veteran quarterback who's had some time to prepare in Joe Flacco, who's been playing like prime Joe Flacco all over again. And, yeah, I mean, I would love to see C.J. Stroud win this game, to be honest, and the Texans take it. I think that story would just be immaculate. But I got the Browns winning this game. And covering that spread. You said 3.5, yeah, for sure, covering that.
2.5, so yeah.
2.5, 3. About a field goal, yeah. But that doesn't change anything. I think the Browns defense limits Stroud, and I think Flacco can put up some points. So give me the Browns.
Dude, you can't count out the Stroud boys, man. I think this game boils down to if the Joe Flacco Linsanity run is, indeed, in fact, a Linsanity run, or if this shit's about to end. I agree with you, Matt. In fact, I'll one up it. I think the Browns have the best defense out of all the teams in the playoff right now. They have my runner-up in the depoy, obviously, Myles Garrett. I got to shout out my boy TJ Watt real quick. Nonetheless, though, it's at Houston in the playoffs. I think the Browns have a pretty big advantage playing at home, especially with the weather, the dog pound, all the jazz that goes with playing at home. I can't lie, though. C.J. Stroud, he's looking like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and hasn't even played an entire season yet. I got the Texans in a close one. I think the Flacco Linsanity run is over, although I do think the defense keeps them in it. I lean the under in this game. 44.5 seems a little bit too high. CJ Stroud's shown he can deal with pressure. But it's a whole different ball game because they got good corners on the back end too. So, Nico Collins going to have a big game.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Stroud pulls out a close one, but more so just because Flacco, I don't think, continues the run.
Yeah, so like Matt mentioned, the Browns beat the Texans in Houston a couple weeks ago, 36-22. That was in week 16. And in that game, Amari Cooper went for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns, with Joe Flacco passing for 368 yards and 3 touchdowns. Do I think that happens again? No, but I still don't think the Texans slow him down enough to stop him here, as much as it pains me as a CJ Stroud fan and a Pittsburgh Steelers fan to pick the Cleveland Browns. I guess betting-wise, it's not an upset, but I think this is probably the best spot for a road team in the AFC to take it, so I'm going to go with the Browns.
Did CJ Stroud play in that Browns game?
He did not.
Or was he on that
He did
concussion
not.
still?
Davis Mills played. Davis Mills and Case Keenum.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
Hey, but they still put up 22 with those two
I was
against
gonna
that
say
defense.
it's a big. I mean, those were mostly garbage time points. I remember that game when you're watching Amari Cooper go crazy, but it was without Stroud too, so a little misleading. I like the picks though. It's going to be a good game. One of the better games on the slate. In my
Oh, for
opinion.
sure.
Definitely. Then moving on to the other game on Saturday, the Peacock exclusive at 8 Eastern.
So stupid.
Oh, it is. It is. But NFL knows. NFL knows people will pay money just to watch that game, so they can get away with it. Both teams, the 11-6 Miami Dolphins, who fell their division lead last week at home, so now they have to go on the road to Kansas City to play the 11-6 Chiefs. The Chiefs obviously have not looked as good as they have the past couple years, but they still once again are in their division winners, the 3 seed this year, so they are going to have to most likely play a road playoff game. But this game, they're going to be at home on Saturday night with a game time temperature of -1 degrees. We'll start with JJ in this one. What are you thinking? The Chiefs are favored by 4.5.
See, watching the Chiefs this season as a sports bettor, I was waiting to fade them in the playoffs. I don't think the Chiefs are very good. However, that game's going to be a temperature of -4, I believe. Obviously, that begs the question, how will the Miami Dolphins stack up in a game that's -4 degrees? Tyreek Hill's used to it. Obviously, he's been a Chief before, and he's played in the weather. But I don't care what you say, practicing and living in Miami all year is a vast difference than going into Arrowhead versus the best quarterback on the planet, if not the best quarterback to ever play the position. Shout out Jeff Biddle. But
Let's go.
yeah, I got the Chiefs. I was surprised the Dolphins played the Bills a lot closer a couple nights ago. If not for that punt return, I think the Dolphins probably could have won that game. But simply due to the fact of the weather and that, Matt knows I'm a Tua hater. I don't think he's got a good arm, and I don't think he's clutch in the prime time. On the Peacock special, give me the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. She gonna be in attendance.
She's going to be on the
Yeah,
clock.
I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that take, but yeah, I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's 9-2 at home, I believe, in his postseason career. And they already beat Miami earlier this season. Yeah, that game was in Germany, so I don't hold that to a lot. But I do think with Kansas City's receivers not being the same receivers that Mahomes has been used to in these type of moments, I think they're going to have to be at their best against the Miami offense that, I mean, this past season they led the AFC in yards and I believe points. Yeah, the Dolphins have struggled against some playoff caliber teams this year, as if we've seen that record against winning teams this year. I think they're like 0-5 or something like that. No, it's not good at all. But I think if they can turn this game into a track meet in a cold game with Achane and Mostert in the backfield, I think they have the better running back game for sure. And as long as Tua doesn't make mistakes, I mean, you look at that Bills game a couple days ago with that tipped touchdown pass for the Bills in the back of the end zone, which was just kind of crazy, and then that punt return. I think that game would have gone a lot different. So yeah, obviously, as I'm a biased Tua fan over here, I'm taking the Dolphins in this spot to win the game. But yeah, I think it will be a pretty good game. I think it will be kind of low scoring, to be honest, with the weather. But yeah, give me the Dolphins. I mean, I'm not ever going to fade Tua. and you were talking about you were trying to find a spot to fade Mahomes in them, and this is kind of that spot for me that I kind of want to fade them in because they kind of look lackluster all year. So yeah, give me the Dolphins in this game, but it's probably, if I had to rate all my picks, it's probably my least confident pick on the board for sure. But I lead Miami.
Bro, all our viewers are going to be tailing your picks, bro. Like, you can't be giving out something you don't believe in.
That's true, but it's more of a heart. It's the gut feeling.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City. I don't trust the Dolphins to play in the cold weather ever. So I really think, like, if they were going to go far this year, they had to win that game on Sunday, which they did not. I mean, when he's at home, I'm never betting against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, no matter what the weather is. It's going to have Mike McDaniels vaping on the sideline again for Miami to try to stay warm. But I don't think it's going to be enough. He's going to be distracted again, So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one.
What's the over-under on that game? Just curious.
44.5.
Ooh, same as the other Browns-Texans. Okay.
Then moving on, the final AFC game to kick off the day on Sunday at 1 Eastern, noon Central on CBS. Me and JJ's Pittsburgh Steelers head to Buffalo to take on the division champion Buffalo Bills. They're 11-6. Steelers are 10-7. Biggest points favorite of the weekend, as Buffalo is -10 with an over/under of 36.5. We'll let Matt start with this one. What are we thinking, Matt?
That's so
No,
good.
we're going to turn this to you, the host, Derek. You start this one off.
The over/under's 36.5.
36.5.
And we're given 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so gross.
You can take
so-
this one. Start it, Derek. This is all you.
Well, I mean, they're covering that spread, no doubt.
Ooh.
They are not going to win the game, though. Without TJ Watt, I don't really give them a chance. I mean, I do kind of like the matchup against Buffalo, as while they are playing well at the right time here, Buffalo's been a team that has beat themselves in a couple games this year, especially that game against the Jets, game against the Broncos. And the Steelers kind of always play up to their competition, hang around in the game, especially just since they are such a low-scoring defensive team. But that's why I think losing a guy like TJ Watt, a big difference maker on the defense, unless Josh Allen is just like throwing the ball like straight at the DBs here, which, again, he occasionally does, I'm not sure the Steelers' defense really has the big play capability to stop Buffalo. And while Mason Rudolph is playing well, kind of like how we were saying, maybe, the Joe Flacco Cinderella run comes to an end here, this is probably where the Mason Rudolph run comes to an end. So sadly, I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to this pick. I would be interested to see in what that spread would be if TJ Watt was playing. Just to see how much of a difference sportsbooks add with just one edge rush or outside linebacker playing. So that'd be kind of cool to see. I think the Steelers' defense is a lot better than people will give them credit for, despite TJ Watt not playing. I know it was Tyler Huntley last week, but they were playing damn good football on the defensive side. I think the Bills win. I don't think it's going to be particularly close, and I'm in agreement with Derek. I think the Mason Rudolph run has kind of been a little blown out of proportion. Most of the big-time throws and the touchdowns that he's been, accounting for have been rack yards, after a slant route. Pickens took fucking 2 of them for 60-plus yards. Deontay Johnson, same thing last week. Not to say I think Mason Rudolph is the best quarterback on our roster, which pains me to say because he's not that good. Josh Allen could turn the ball over 3 times in this game, and they'd probably still win. I got the Bills.
Yeah, to touch on that, to play devil's advocate, though, I do think Pittsburgh's offense has been looking a little better, especially that running game between Najee and Warren. Obviously, getting Canada out of there has helped them open up a lot of more things to do, for sure. But I'm sorry, in this game, if the spread was 14, I'd still lay the points with the Bills. But to touch on your TJ Watt point, I do think that spread would be closer to like a 7, a touchdown point game with TJ. I think that's how much of an impact he makes in this game. And I think just the idea of him not being there, the Bills know it's like that was one thing that could definitely kill them, was collapsing the pocket. And Josh Allen can run the football, but TJ Watt can chase anybody down. That guy's DPOY, in my opinion, for a reason. Yeah, I think even if the Bills were 14, I'd lay the points. Josh Allen is hungry. He's been wanting a playoff run for a long, long time. He wins this game. I believe he gets home field if Kansas City wins, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something that he definitely wants in his favor after having to travel to Kansas City in the past. Not saying he's looking ahead, because you never want to do that in professional sports. But I think Dalton Kincaid has had a really good season for them, and I think he might take advantage of those coverage linebackers on Pittsburgh. And I think this game could be a absolute rout in the Bills' favor. I don't mean to offend anybody on this podcast, but I really don't. I think this game will be the ugliest game on the slate. But that over-under of 33, 34 is way too low, because I think the Steelers can still put up points. They can find a way. But yeah, give me the Bills by a country mile.
So now moving on to the NFC, and oh boy, the script writers were cooking with these matchups. Honestly, no, this one's pretty good. Mike McCarthy against his old team, the Green Bay Packers. A year ago, they lost the game that if they won, they would have made the playoffs. This year, they beat the Chicago Bears with Jordan Love, and they're in. And now they're playing at 4:30 Eastern on Sunday on Fox in Dallas. Packers are 9-8, Cowboys 12-5. Dallas is 7.5-point favorites in this one with an over/under of 50.5. Matt, what are we thinking here?
Oh my God, 50.5.
That's
all these over-unders have been so low in the AFC outside of that last game, but oh my Lord. So yeah, it's Dallas. I would love to pick the Packers. I really do like Jordan Love, and it's gross saying that growing up in Illinois my whole life. But yeah, they just got it with Brett Favre to Rodgers, and now Jordan Love might be that guy. I'm not solidifying anything by saying he's that guy, he's that franchise guy forever, but man, it's looking like that. But yeah, no, I don't trust this Packers team. It's too young. They have very limited talent on offense. I don't even think Bakatari is coming back for this game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't trust the receivers. They're too young in big moments like this, and you can't trust a quarterback like that. So I kind of want to keep it short and simple. It's the Cowboys, and I think the spread was 7. I would probably take them -7, but it's Cowboys for sure in this spot. Ooh, so it's bumped up a half. Sick. Give me the Cowboys. In Jerry World, yeah.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah, dude, I think I was a year too early on my Packers to win the NFC North prediction.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will take as much credit for that as I will blame for the Seahawks pick. I don't know what I was smoking on when I said that. Jordan Love is him. I'm going to be honest. When I saw him play against the Eagles on Thursday night last year when Rodgers was out, I was like, damn, this dude's kind of good, actually, which, I mean, makes sense. You sit behind, Aaron Rodgers, who as a person is a horrible human being, but as a football player is one of the best to ever sling the pigskin. Sitting behind that gives you a certain type of advantage over the rest of the quarterbacks in the league that were kind of just thrown into the fire. Nonetheless, though, the Cowboys don't lose at Jerry's World. When they're playing on that turf down in Dallas, they don't lose. I got the Cowboys, but I really think the Packers are going to be one of the future teams to start running the NFL in the next couple of years, just not right now. If there's any year for a Dallas year, it's this year.
Yeah.
I would agree. And so I'm also going Dallas. We have another sweep here in the 2-7 game. Dak Prescott, he's playing well this year. 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's a pretty solid ratio right there. Like I said, games in Dallas. They don't have to play their bugaboo in the 49ers for once. So I'm gonna give them a first round win for sure. Like I said, they're playing well at the right time. Being able to pick up the division this year, capitalize on Philly falling off. So being able to get this home playoff game, I think is gonna be huge for them. And I mean, I just think they're the better team. Like you said, Packers did play well down the stretch there, got in the playoffs. Jordan Love has been playing well. But for once in a playoff game, I think Dak Prescott is the better quarterback, and I think he leads Dallas to victory.
Yeah, I mean, I want to butt in real quick. I think if you look at that 2-7 on the other side with the Steelers and Bills, and then you look at that 2-7 with this Packers team, I think if there was one upset to be happen, I think people wouldn't be as surprised if the Packers won this game compared to like if the Steelers beat the Bills on the road. Because this Packers team can surprise a lot of people. So I mean, I don't want to write it off by any means by saying it's just Dallas by an insane amount, like we all kind of agreed with the
I think
Bills.
it's gonna be a good game.
But I could see definitely a world where the Packers can keep this close, but those late plays and that late 2 minute drive, I think that's kind of the deciding factor that leans the Cowboys for all of us.
Yeah, I think that 7.5 is a little high, to be honest. I know you said you'd take it. I think if I would take a side on the gambling side, I would be going with Green Bay plus 7.5.
The Packers,
I think Dallas wins the game.
That's not a bad bet at all.
Then moving on to what has to be the best storyline of the weekend, the Sunday night game, the 10-7 LA Rams head to Detroit to take on the Lions, the first Lions home playoff game since 1992. And who did they get to face? Their former quarterback, Matthew Stafford. These two quarterbacks, Jared Goff and Stafford, were traded for each other a couple years ago. Stafford was able to lead the Rams to the Super Bowl in his first year. Is it Goff's time this year? We'll have to see. Right now, Detroit is 3-point favorites with an over-under of 51.5. Like I said, games in Detroit, so indoor game. 12-5 Lions, 10-7 Rams. JJ, who do you have in this one?
Dude, this one's hard, man. How shitty would it be for the Lions? Think about it. The first time you have a home playoff game since what? You said 19...
I believe 1992 is what I've heard.
And it's Matt Stafford coming in to crush your hopes. And, oh, dude, if I was a Lions fan, I would be in absolute pain.
Oh, shambles. I'd be shaking.
I'd be in shambles, bro, because this Rams team is not a pushover team. I think the Lions are good enough to skate by like they have been this year. I was honestly surprised when they played the Cowboys that close on the controversial did Dan Skipper or Taylor Decker check in with the ref. I thought the Cowboys were going to kill them. I don't think the Lions defense is very good. I expect a very big game of from Puka Nacua and the rest of the Rams receiving core, especially with the fully healthy Matt Stafford. I'm gonna give a hot take for this week. I got the Rams, bro. I got the Rams. I would hate to be in the situation as a Lions fan. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is uber talented. I don't know if Sam Laporta is playing or not yet. I know he kind of got hurt in that last game, which I think falls on Dan Campbell's head.
It does.
He's a great culture guy, but I don't think he's that great of a head coach, personally. That Cowboys game was winnable, too. I don't know why you still go. I know, the playoff spot was locked up.
Locked.
Why are you playing your starters
Yep.
in a meaningless game up 2 scores against the Vikings? I understand you don't want to, you got to portray this image of being a, culture coach, and you're not giving players off and everything like that. But there was no way they were moving up or down in the standings. And now it might cost them Sam Laporta. I got the Rams. I'm very excited for this game. Again, I think it's one of the better games on the slate through a very packed wild card slate, to be honest with you. I'm excited for it, but I got the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on what JJ was saying, I think MCDC is definitely that kind of locker room coach that you want to have. As a player, any player would kill to play for that guy. But then it comes down to the decision making, and that's really where the game is won, in between the Lions. And yeah, I don't know, with Sean McVay, Super Bowl 56, they rode Aaron Donald in that defense. He obviously is a great coach. I'd say probably in upwards of top 5. And he obviously knows how to coach in the playoffs. And now he finally has his full offense back in gear with Stafford, Kyron, Kupp, like you mentioned, Puka Nacua. That offense is scary. I mean, they can throw that ball. They can sling that rock amongst the best of them in terms of defenses. So this Lions defense does scare me. And then the lack of possibly no Laporta could change things if he is in for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm on the Rams too. I think that's more of maybe like the favorite pick. What's the line on this game, Derek?
3 for Detroit.
3 in favor of Detroit. Okay, yeah. I mean, I would take that Rams +3 to the bank for sure. If my name was Jeffrey Bezos, I'd put a lot of money on that. But unfortunately, it's not. So, give me the Rams in this spot. Stafford back in Ford Field, and yeah, I mean, it should be the best game of the wild card weekend for sure. Hopefully, Derek's going somewhere else with this one, but if not, I would love to ride it with you, Duroc. Where are you going?
Oh, see, like, I was 50-50, and the way you guys have been talking, like, I'm kind of like, ooh, now I might have to go Rams.
Hey, we're swaying our own.
Because I agree. I've been saying that all year. The
opinions.
Lions' defense just keeps teams in games.
So fraudulent, dude.
Like, they weren't, I guess, like, they had a couple, like, the Denver game, and then, I guess, last week. I didn't really watch a lot of last week. But yeah, like they don't really like blow anyone out. I mean, like they're all close games. They like lost to the Bears one time, could have easily lost the other one. So like I'm kind of leaning Rams just because that's such a prolific offense against like a nothing defense. But I mean, I feel like this is another like team of destiny. Like, well, none of us believed in them in our preseason picks. No one picked them to win the division. Here they go. They win the division pretty handily. Never really was in doubt. I mean, Jared Goff's been playing well this year. Let me pull up his stats here. I'm sorry, I'm flipping around between too many different pages. Jared Goff, 30 touchdowns this year, 4,500 yards. Like I said, it could very well go either way. Like I said, I'd say the best bet here is the over 51.5.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Oh, points are coming at points
I
will
like
be
that
scored.
too.
Especially
Points
on
will
an
be scored.
indoor stadium. But like I said, I could go either way. To be different, I'm gonna go with the Lions. But I could very easily see the Rams winning this one. But I'm gonna go Lions just to have some diversity in our picks.
Yeah, I mean, to talk back about that defense, it's kind of scary when you have a Carolina Panthers team that won 2 games this year and they put the most points up against Detroit this year. So it's a small little fact, but I feel like that just scares me being a Lions fan. And then with what JJ mentioned of Matthew Stafford coming to town to ruin your hopes and dreams after 30-something years.
Bro.
That place is going to be loud, though. I'll tell you that. That place is going to be loud. I know the Loud House is called Indianapolis Colts Stadium, Lucas Oil, but man, that stadium is going to be loud.
Yeah, that's scary, bro.
All right, and then the final game, the Monday night game. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of them doing this. I loved when they added this 2 years ago now, or was last year the first one? I forget.
I believe it was last year.
No, 2 years ago, because first was Rams, Cardinals, and then last year's game.
Oh, Rams, yes.
I like doing this just because, like, noon NFL on a Saturday just doesn't feel right. Like, it's like,
No.
It already takes up my full day on Sunday. I can't have you taking up my whole day Saturday, too.
Saturday, yeah. No, I agree with that.
Makes me feel like I can at least have, like, some time to be a productive human being on Saturday, which then gives me the right to all day Saturday and Sunday, the rest of the day,
Yeah.
not do anything. So, and I mean, great day for ball on Monday. Martin Luther King Day, if any of you guys are lucky to have it off, either you two or listeners. Great college basketball all day, some NBA, and then finishing off the night with a Monday Night Football playoff game. Beautiful day for ball. And I think it's going to be a beautiful day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and all the Philadelphia haters out there. The Eagles were 10-1. They finished the year 11-6. They are limping into the postseason. And Tampa Bay, another team, people kind of wrote them off. Like, none of us picked them to win the division. They end up winning the division, not handily by any means, but are able to pull it out. Baker Mayfield, I feel like Cleveland gave up on him a little bit too fast. I know now, they're doing fine. They got Joe Flacco to lead them to the playoffs. But Baker Mayfield, I feel like he just finds ways to win games. He found a way to get this team in the playoffs against a limping, like I said, Philadelphia team that's going the wrong way. Having to go on the road now after all season, expecting to have a home playoff game or a bye and then a home playoff game. Vibes are horrible. Vibes are up in Tampa Bay. Baker's practicing with Zins in his pocket. He's going to leave him to victory. Give me the ball.
Yes. Zimbabwe. Go ahead, JJ.
I got the Eagles, man. Not because I'm wearing the Vic jersey. I just think they're way more talented. I will keep riding the Eagles until they lose me coin some more. I don't know if A.J. Brown's playing either. I know he got hurt, another victim of the MetLife turf, which is unfortunate, but I honestly think A.J. Brown, from the reports that I was reading, was more of a detriment to that locker room than he was helping. I just don't see a world where the Bucs match up with the Eagles. Talent-wise, it's there for the Eagles. They've just been skidding, and I don't think it's due to a lack of skill. I think it's more just a culture thing. But what do I know? I'm not in their locker room. I nonetheless, my gut tells me the Eagles walk out of this game victorious. I got the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sitting at that forefront that Derek was sitting at with that last matchup between the Rams and the Lions. I was on the Bucks this whole time, but I don't know. You can't count out the Eagles. I mean, they were literally in the Super Bowl last year.
You can't count them out, bro. Like
It sounds crazy how they kind of finished the season, and they're still kind of in a small line with this game. I believe it is 3.
Yeah, it's 3. Yeah, sorry, I didn't read it off. -3 for Philly, over under 43.5.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles, they got that experience. They got the quarterback. They have the coach. Maybe not all the coaches they want, but they have that head coach. And they probably have the most unstoppable play in football that we've seen in over a decade, probably in all time. The defense, well, I don't really want to talk too much about the defense, but I do think this Philly team is kind of that wild card team you can look at out of the 5 other wild card teams, including them, and they have the best chance to win the Super Bowl out of if you put them on paper. They're just too deep. I think the Eagles know that they kind of went all in after last year. I mean, look at that D line. You kind of have you could potentially, if everybody's healthy, run two full D lines with that roster. They're really deep, and Tampa Bay's run game is kind of it's kind of been lackluster the last couple weeks, and maybe more so their offensive line. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see Baker win in this spot. I do like Baker a lot, and I hate the Eagles, really do. But I don't see a world where the Eagles lose this game. I mean, actually, I do see a world where the Eagles lose this game, but it's more so of just kind of a gut feeling I'm going with. But this Eagles roster, like JJ mentioned, is just too deep. It's too experienced.
Obviously, the Eagles can lose this game. I mean, they've lost what? I mean, they just got
5.
They
said 5 of their last 6.
Last 6.
They shouldn't lose. They should get blown out by the Giants last week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With their starters, bro, like their starters sprint. So there's definitely a world where the Eagles lose it. Also, side note, Antoine Winfield not being a Pro Bowler, criminal.
Kind of crazy.
Budda Baker is in a Pro Bowl because simply off of name value.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember back in my day, the Pro Bowl used to mean something.
Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing anymore.
Now we got that old fart Bobby Wagner making Pro Bowls. Like,
do you guys actually watch the Pro Bowl?
No. But
I'll put it on the TV, and then my mom says it's time to do chores, and I'm like, sounds good. I have no problem with that.
Like, bruh, dude, Antoine Winfield not being a Pro Bowler is criminal, bro.
Yep.
Like, criminal.
Yeah, I mean, that Bucs defense is so good. I still think they got a lot of good names on it. And it could limit them, especially without A.J. Brown. But like you mentioned, A.J. Brown I felt like was the variable in that locker room that did shift some tides and cause some problems. So maybe if he's not on the field, they can kind of just play with their shoulders relaxed and not be so uptight about, throwing him the ball every play because that's what he wants. So yeah. I don't know. I lean the Eagles in this spot, but I think this will be top 3 wild card matchup of the wild card round.
I think this game's going to be boring, to be honest with you.
So that wraps up our picks for the first round. Now we are going to give our picks for the Super Bowl. What we think will happen. Let me start. I'm going to preface here, though, because I read the division winners at the beginning. Let me read what our Super Bowl picks were at the beginning of the year. JJ, you weren't the only one that was a big Seattle Seahawks fan. Matt had them losing to the Bills in the Super Bowl.
Gino.
However, I will give Matt credit in our long shot segment. Matt's long shot to win the Super Bowl, the Baltimore Ravens.
That wasn't even a long shot, dude. They had some good odds before the season to make the playoffs.
Well, to make the playoffs, yeah, but to win the Super Bowl, I think they were sitting at more like a plus 3.
Now that I think about it, I think the
3,300
Seahawks
plus 20,
to win the West was my long shot.
Probably. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, you guys love the Seahawks. Well, I don't know. It's better than my long shot of the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl. Their season ended after about 26 seconds, so that didn't turn out too well.
The first 26 seconds.
Yeah. And then my actual prediction, they didn't make the playoffs either, and the Cincinnati Bengals, and I had them beating the Philadelphia Eagles, who I now think are going to lose in the first round. So I'm not doing too great. JJ, you are the only one with both your teams still in the mix, as you have Philly over Buffalo as your Super Bowl prediction. But now we have a chance to change it. So JJ, since you're the one who did the best, I'll give you the first prediction. I'll let you put yours first, but let me read off some odds first. So I've been reading ESPN Bet the whole time. I'll stay consistent. Their odds, they have the Niners at plus 225, then the Ravens at plus 325, the Bills at plus 600, the Cowboys at plus 750, the Chiefs at plus 1,000, the Eagles at plus 1,500, the Dolphins are plus 1,800, the Lions are 2,000, and then everyone else is 3,000 max. The Browns, the Rams, the Texans, the Buccaneers, then the Packers and the Steelers. JJ, are you staying with Eagles Bills, or what are you thinking here?
I am going to keep my AFC champion. Looking at this bracket right now that I got up here, the Bills won't have to face the Ravens until the AFC Championship game, which I think is a big plus. And when that game rolls around, it's anybody's game. It's a matter of plays that could decide that. That's not to say I don't think the Ravens are good. They're a juggernaut, and they've been a juggernaut all year. They have the MVP on their team. I just think the Bills possess a certain it factor with Josh Allen. Although I do worry about his turnover rate with that Ravens elite defense. That's going to be absolute movie scene when those two teams face off. So, I mean, the Bills got the Steelers round one, and then they got the winner of Chiefs Dolphins, who I don't think either of those teams are particularly good. I got the Bills coming out of the AFC in a close dogfight with the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. Coming out of the NFC, if the Cowboys were the 1 seed, I probably would have taken the Cowboys over the Niners, to be honest with you, just because of how dominant they've been at home. But seeing as the Niners are the 1 seed, they have home field advantage. I got the Niners. It might be a little square play here, but that team's a juggernaut, man. I got Cowboys Niners in the NFC Championship game, with the Niners taking it, which would lead us to Niners Bills Super Bowl. I'll try to wrap it up quick here. I got the Niners. I think they're a very well-rounded team. But yeah, I got the Niners. Kind of square, but I don't care. That's my pick.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't want to be boring and just say everything that JJ said, because that's kind of what I was thinking when I saw this bracket get released about 3 days ago. So I'll change it up a little bit. I still like the Bills. I'm going to do the opposite of what JJ did and keep his pick with the Bills. I'm going to not keep my pick with Baltimore. I'm going to go to the Bills. I think this is their run to be made, like I mentioned earlier.
Buffalo
I think they
is
go.
your team. Buffalo is your team. You had Baltimore as your long shot.
Okay, correct. Okay, so I'm going to still ride with the Bills then. And yeah, I mean, I had the Niners, but if I want to be crazy, who I really think has a chance, it's the Los Angeles Rams. I could see a Bills-Rams Super Bowl.
Damn.
That Rams offense is so high scoring with everything back in full effect. I mean, look at Kyren Williams. That guy had, 14 touchdowns this year, 15 touchdowns, and he missed 5 games. And he had... 1,400 yards all purpose with those 5 games? He could be close to 2K.
The Rams can find draft studs, bro.
Oh, yeah. And then you got Puka and you got Kupp on both sides. I don't know if there's a defense out there outside of Cleveland or Baltimore that can bracket both of those receivers. And then you got a good old line, and it's a Sean McVay defense that I trust. So, yeah, I like the Rams, Bills, but I'm going to go the Bills in this spot to win it all, and I'm going to give my prediction. The Bills win this Super Bowl 33-17 against the Los Angeles Rams. High scoring, baby. High scoring. Derek, take it away.
I'm gonna be honest, again, there's no proof of this anywhere, but just after watching that 49ers Cowboys game, week 5 Sunday Night Football, I was okay, the 49ers should go in the Super Bowl. And I was like, Buffalo's a good team to pick out of the AFC. I've been saying Buffalo for a while. But that's because I'm very scared as a Steelers fan to admit to myself I don't want to do it. Baltimore Ravens, this year that they've stayed healthy, are the best team in the NFL. We saw it when they blew out the 49ers on Christmas Day. And, I think it'll be closer this time. I think once again in the Super Bowl, what Super Bowl was that? 47 rematch. I think the Ravens once again knock off the 49ers. I think the lights will stay on in Vegas this time because when the lights ever go out in
That's
Vegas.
a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
So give me I'll go like 35-24 is my final score. Baltimore Ravens win the Super Bowl. And shout out my buddy Ray. He's a big Baltimore Ravens fan, and his parents are Steelers fans and have said Mike Tomlin should have been fired years ago, which I disagree with. But when the Ravens win the Super Bowl, that will add more fuel to their fire that the Steelers have not won any Super Bowls in the time that the Ravens now have won 2. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Both Harbaugh bros winning a championship.
Don't even.
Huh?
No, don't even.
That stung. That one hurt for both of you.
Yeah, our two biggest rivals they coach our two biggest rivals, and they're gonna win both. And I'm gonna be very upset. I thought, well, at least probably I won't have to deal with any like Ravens fans standing on top of the bar singing the alma mater while we get our checks for 45 minutes. Like
that would be nice.
Like happened on Monday, so that'll be good at least. But it'll be a close second. So that wraps it up, fellas. It's good to be back. Like I said, hopefully we can do this once a week here in the playoffs. Give our round-by-round prediction. No promises because we said we were going to do that for the whole NFL season, and we saw how that happened. But
we got through 1 week.
Back to it until the wild card weekend.
It's playoff time. You gotta play your best in the playoffs. So we're going to bring our best.
We can promise you one thing, guys.
Everybody follow Matt2Icy on Twitter for absolute Lockachinos.
Lockachinos only during MLB season, guys. Don't track anything else. Listen, viewers, I can promise you one thing to take away from this. We recorded week 1 of the NFL season. We recorded week 1 of the playoffs. We will guarantee have a Super Bowl preview episode. Guaranteed. Now, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I can't promise anything. But we will keep it steady. I know the viewers
are going to be itching and fiending for a new video.
But there will be a Super Bowl episode
out.
And
if you're watching this video, man, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a Twitch Prime sub to Shoot the Rock. Come on, man. I don't know what y'all doing. If you have a Twitch account, use the sub on The Rock, please. We want to see the boy get to ninja levels during Fortnite ninja levels.
Mr. Beast, like he's climbing. We got to keep catapulting him to the next level.
Tell me that he only watches me and Mr. Beast, so I might be on that level already. But
hey, that's a godlike comparison.
Y'all are there, bro.
Sadly, I'm not going to be able to give out $1 million to the one lucky subscriber that predicts the Super Bowl because we're a bunch of idiots and can't do it ourselves.
We watch all the sports in the world, but yet we can't predict
anything to save our lives. But I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you, guys.
All right. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.